Going to deal with, as I told you, is electrostatics. Okay. So what is this electrostatics and what we are going to study in electrostatics? That is most important. In physics, there is a branch called as electromagnetics. Okay. Electromagnetics. This electromagnetics is broadly classified into two parts. The first part of this electromagnetics is called as electrostatics. And the second branch is called as electrodynamics. Just try to understand what I'm telling you. Okay. In physics, we have a major branch called as electromagnetics. And this electromagnetics is again divided into two sub-branches, electrostatics and electrodynamics. So what we are going to study in electrostatics? Electro means charge, I can say. And statics means rest. So in electrostatics, we are going to deal with the charges at rest. Okay, when charge is at rest, what is going to happen? When charge is at rest, it will exert a force on another charge in its vicinity, we can say. At the same time, it will produce electric field and it will produce potential, and we will discuss one more part here, capacitance. So these are the effects of charges at rest. When charge is at rest, initially it will produce an electric field around it, and in that electric field, if we keep another charge, that will experience a force. And then apart from these two, we have one more term, potential and capacitance, in this topic, electrostatics. So here, number of times I'm using the word charge. What is this charge in fact? So before going to tell about what is this charge, let me brief even this electrodynamics. Okay, what is electrodynamics? Electro means charge, as I told you. Dynamics represents the motion state of the charge. So electrodynamics deals with the charges in motion. Charges in motion. Try to understand. And by listening, just go on writing the points that I am mentioning here. Right? Afterwards, I'll show you the PowerPoint. There you can note down your important points as well. So here, in electrodynamics, we deal with the charges in motion. Okay, when charge is moving with uniform velocity, then what happens? It produces electromagnetic field. It produces electric field as well as magnetic field. When charge is moving with uniform velocity, it produces electric field as well as magnetic field. When it starts begin with uniform acceleration, it not only produces electric field, magnetic field, but also emits electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation. Try to understand what I'm telling you. When charge is at rest, it produces only electric field. When charge begins to move with uniform velocity, it produces electric field as well as magnetic field. When the same charge begins to move with uniform acceleration, then it not only produces electric and magnetic field, but also emits electromagnetic radiation. So in connection with this magnetic field and electromagnetic radiation, we will deal with in electrodynamics. So got it? So once we know what is electromagnetics, what is electrostatics, what is electrodynamics, then we can move to know further. So we are going to discuss about the word charge. As I told you, we are using the word charge quite number of times. Okay, charge. In first year, we have studied about a fundamental intrinsic property of matter called as mass. Till today, we don't have any clear definition regarding mass. What is mass of a body? Mass means I'm saying, not defined as. Mass means the quantity of matter present in an object. What do you mean by this quantity of matter? Quantity of matter, is it the number of atoms present in the body, or number of moles present in the body, or number of subatomic particles present in the body? We don't know. But we say quantity of matter is called as mass. So mass is intrinsic property. Try to understand the word intrinsic property of matter. Right. So the intrinsic property of matter is mass. In a similar manner, this matter is having one another intrinsic property. Matter is having another intrinsic property. Okay. One property is mass. The second property, which is also intrinsic, is charge. We don't know the exact definition of charge even today. Absolutely, we don't know. As we don't know the definition of mass, we don't know the definition of charge as well. So what is this charge? I can tell you. Charge is the intrinsic property associated with matter. Associated with matter. You can write this. Okay. Charge is the intrinsic property associated with matter. Precisely, if I want to tell you, with fundamental particles like electrons, protons. So charge is the intrinsic property associated with matter, or we can say it is the intrinsic property of the fundamental particles like electrons and protons. Okay. So once you know what is this charge, it is nothing but a property of what? Fundamental particles. What fundamental particles? Precisely, I can say electrons and protons. Fine. Now, this charge is broadly classified into two types. One is positive charge. The second one is negative charge. Okay. Positive charge and negative charge. So what is positive and what is negative? The name of positive charge as well as negative charge is arbitrarily designed. So positive and negative charge names are arbitrarily proposed by a scientist called as Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin. So the scientist, American scientist called as Benjamin Franklin, arbitrarily named the charge as positive, as negative. And afterwards, we came to know that the charge on electron is negative and the charge on proton is positive. Later on, we came to know that. Okay, fine. Once we know there are two different types of charges, based on these two types of charges, let me try to explain the neutrality of an atom. Neutrality of an atom. You know, if you consider an atom, and if the number of protons present in the nucleus is exactly equal to the number of electrons, then we say that atom is electrically neutral. Okay. Similarly, we can say when the number of protons and number of electrons in a body are equal, then we call that body as uncharged body, because the word this uncharged body we use quite number of times. Uncharged body or neutral body. We will be using this word number of times. I try to understand what is the meaning of this uncharged body or neutral body. If the number of protons and number of electrons are equal, then we call it as uncharged body or neutral body. Fine. Okay. Now, let me suppose there is more number of electrons than protons in a body. If number of electrons in a body is greater than number of protons in that, then we call it as negatively charged body. Negatively charged body. If number of electrons is less than number of protons, then we call that body as positively charged body. Okay. So now I told you what is a neutral body or uncharged body, what is a positively charged body, and what is a negatively charged body. Fine. Let us suppose we have a conductor. Let us say there is a conductor. On this conductor, I am going to place some charge. See, I am going to place some charge somewhere over the surface of the conductor. Initially over the surface. Then whatever charge that I am going to place, that is uniformly distributed over the surface, entire surface. So the charge that we give to a conductor, this is the point you must remember. When some charge is given to a conductor, that charge distributes itself over the entire surface. Say sometimes you are going to place the charge inside a conductor. Then also this charge comes out and spreads over the surface. So we call this as charged conductor. Try to understand. The words I am using here will be widely used in the next part of our syllabus. So I am saying charged conductor, right? Charged conducting sphere, uncharged conducting sphere. Like this, we will be using some words. So you must understand, in case of a solid conducting sphere, whatever the charge you give to it spreads entirely over the surface. Even if you place that charge inside that, it comes out and spreads over the surface. This is the case of conductor. See, I am considering a conducting sphere. Now let me consider one more sphere. I call it as insulating sphere. Try to understand the difference. This is conducting sphere and the second one is insulating sphere. This insulating sphere, name itself indicates that it is made of an insulator. What is an insulator? Insulator is the one which will not allow the free flow of charges. So what happens here? If you place some charge at a point A on the surface, it remains there only. It will not spread over the entire surface as in case of a conductor. In case of a conductor, it spreads over the entire surface. Because conductor is having more number of mobile charges. As a result of that, the charge that we give to the conductor is spreading over the surface. Now, in case of insulating one, whatever the charge we give or whatever the charge we place at a place on the sphere, it remains there only. It will not spread over the entire surface. This is the point that you must remember. Because we will be using these two words, conducting sphere, non-conducting sphere. Non-conducting means insulating. Quite a number of times, even while doing the problems or while doing some exercise, right? Try to remember this. Say, in case of an insulating sphere, you are going to place some charge inside, then that remains there only. It will not come out. In case of here, it comes out and it spreads over the surface. Do you understand what I'm telling? Okay, fine. Then, let us suppose you have two different objects. Say you have one object called as a glass rod. Okay, a glass rod is that, and you have a silk cloth. Now, what you are going to do here is you are going to rub this silk cloth with this glass rod. You are going to rub it. Once you start rubbing, then what happens? Then there will be transfer of electrons from one object to the other. Okay? From one object to the other, there will be transfer of electrons. So from which body to which body, there will be a transfer, right? That is the next point. Okay. When we start rubbing two substances, there will be transfer of electrons from one body to another body. So from which body to which body, there will be transfer of electrons. Here, we are supposed to introduce one more word called as, which you studied in your chemistry in your first year. Okay. In chemistry, you have studied this word, work function. I think you remember it. Okay. What is work function? We come across this word work function in photoelectric effect. You remember? While studying about the photoelectric effect, you might have heard about the word called as work function. Now, why I am going to discuss about this work function? I started rubbing one body with another body. Then I am saying there will be transfer of electrons from one body to the other body. Isn't it? So from which body to which body, there will be transfer of electrons. In order to understand this transfer of electrons, we are going to introduce the word work function, right? If you consider an atom, in atom you will be having the center core called as nucleus, where you have protons, and in the outermost orbits you can see the electrons moving. Now, if you want to remove the electron present in the outermost orbit of an atom, you must give some energy to it. So the amount of energy required to remove an electron is called as work function. So we are going to decide the process of transfer of electrons. Try to understand this process of transfer of electrons. So the When two of different objects are rubbed against each other, there will be transfer of electrons from the body of less work function to more work function. This is the point you must understand. Okay, transfer of electrons takes place from a body with less work function to the body with more work function. The point you must remember. Okay, for NEET students, yes, this will be a bit that asked in previous AIMS exam. When two different bodies are rubbed against each other, from which body to which body, the transfer of electrons takes place. Transfer of electrons takes place from a body having less work function to a body having more work function, right? So you must understand. Fine. So when you start rubbing, what happened? One body is losing electrons and the other body is gaining those electrons. Okay. So when you rub one body with another, okay, this is the point to remember. You are rubbing, then transfer of electrons takes place. Try to understand. Transfer of electrons takes place. Fine. So what example I considered? A glass rod. Then I consider silk cloth. So when glass rod is rubbed against silk cloth, after some time, you can see the glass rod having positive charge over its surface, whereas silk cloth having negative charge. What is the meaning of this? This you have to understand. Glass rod is becoming positively charged, whereas silk cloth is negatively charged. That means this glass rod is losing electrons. Yes, we know that. When we lose negativity, then we get positivity. It's very evident. So when you start rubbing glass rod with silk cloth, this glass rod is losing electrons. And those electrons are gained by silk cloth. Now you tell me, among these two, which is having less work function and which is having more work function? I told you in the beginning itself. Transfer of electrons takes place from a body of less work function to a body of more work function. Now from where to where the electrons are transferred? From glass rod to silk cloth. There is a transfer of electrons. So glass rod is having less work function and silk cloth is having more work function. So it is becoming positively charged and it is becoming negatively charged. Do you understand what I am telling? Fine. Now let us consider two such glass rods. I say I have one glass rod. Okay. I have another glass rod. These two glass rods are rubbed with silk cloth. Okay. As a result, what happened? So both have become positively charged. Try to understand. We took two glass rods and the two glass rods are separately rubbed against the silk cloth. As a result, both glass rods have become positively charged. Now these two positively charged glass rods are hanged from the same point. As soon as you hang, what happens? These two glass rods move apart. They will not come closer. Rather, they move apart from each other. This clearly indicates that in between two positive charged glass rods, there is a force. That force is repulsive in nature. So here, try to understand. We are taking two glass rods, and the two glass rods are rubbed against cloth, silk cloth, and then the two are hanged from the same point. As a result, we can observe the two glass rods moving apart from each other. They are initially like this, then they are moving away from each other. Right? That clearly indicates that in between two positively charged glass rods, there exists a force of repulsion. In a similar manner, let me try to understand you people with another concept. You have now a plastic rod. Okay. A plastic rod is that. And now I'm going to take some fur cloth. Fur. Okay, fur ante mana telugulo unni anta. Okay, try to understand. Oka plastic rod ni oka fur ni తీసుకున్నాం అన్నమాట. Now what we are going to do is we are going to rub these two, okay, for some time. When these two are rubbed against each other, then we observe that the plastic rod is having negative charge over it, okay, whereas fur cloth is having positive charge. Now, when these two plastic rods again are suspended from the same point of suspension, again we can observe these two plastic rods moving away from each other. Okay, as I have shown in the above picture, here also I am going to show you. Okay, like this. Again, you can see there is a repulsion. There is a repulsion. Now, let us suppose you have a glass rod that is, okay, rubbed with silk, and a plastic rod that is rubbed with fur. Now, we are going to suspend these two from the same point. Then instead of moving away from each other, they come closer. They come closer. Try to understand. This is the glass rod and this is the plastic. Instead of moving away, they come closer. This clearly indicates that there is some attraction. Now observe the figures I have drawn. In between two positive charges, there exists a force of repulsion. In between two negative charges, there exists a force of repulsion. In between positive and negative charge, there exists a force of attraction. Right? Now here, after seeing these experiments, we can conclude that. Like charges repel and unlike charges attract. See, like charges plus plus, they repel, minus minus repel, plus minus attract. So the conclusion that we are going to draw here is like charges repel, unlike charges attract each other. This is called the law of charges. Try to understand. This is called as law of charges. So law of charges is giving us some information about the repulsion and attraction that exists between the charges. Got it? So what we discussed? We discussed about what is electrostatics, and then I told you about two different types of charges, and the two different types of charges are arbitrarily named by Benjamin Franklin. And thereafter I try to explain rubbing of one body against the other body. When two bodies are rubbed, from which body to which body there will be transfer of electrons. And after that I told you about the law of charges. Fine. Once you know these, you can proceed further. Now, let us try to understand the methods of charging a body. Okay, note down also. Put a small notes and try to write what I'm telling you. Methods of charging a body. Okay. There are three different types of methods of charging a body. The first method of charging body is called as friction. Just now we discussed that. The second method is called as conduction. The third is called as induction. Okay. So there are three different types of charging a body. The first method is called as friction. We discussed that very clearly. I gave you two different examples. Am I right? One, the glass rod rubbed against silk cloth, a plastic rod rubbed against fur cloth, and I clearly told you there will be transfer of electrons from the body of less work function to a body of more work function. Right? This point you must understand. Once you know this one, let us try to discuss about the second method, that is charging by conduction. Right. See, there is a neutral body. I call it as uncharged body. What is the meaning of uncharged body? It contains equal number of negative charges and positive charges. So there is one uncharged body or neutral body. And you have one more positively charged body. Try to understand. So one body, say A, is uncharged body. The second body, say B, is a positively charged body. Now these two bodies are put in contact with each other. So directly they can be placed side by side, they can be put in contact, or they can be joined by means of a conducting wire. Okay, I have shown you they have joined by a conducting wire, or even you can say the two are put in contact like this. Okay. When a neutral body and a charged body are put in contact, then what happens is this uncharged body becomes charged. There will be transfer of some charges from second body to the first body. That is positively charged body to uncharged body. If you put, say there are some 10 coulomb of charge over this one, and it has zero charge initially. It has charge, but number of electrons, number of protons are equal in number. So net charge is not there for this body. Now you are going to put that body in contact with this one, which is having 10 coulomb of charge. After some time, you can see that this body A is having 5 coulomb of charge, and the second body B is also having 5 coulomb of charge. So both are positive now, because positive charge is shared between these two. When uncharged body is put in contact with a charged body, there will be sharing of charge between these two until the two bodies attains the same amount of charge. Until the two bodies attains the same amount of charge. Now, immediately you can say the point we studied just now. Yes, this is 5 coulomb positive charge. This is also 5 coulomb positive charge. So immediately there will be a force of repulsion between these two. Okay. Initially, the first one is a neutral one. The second one is, okay, this is the neutral. The second one is positively charged. After some time, both have become positively charged. As a result, there will be a force of repulsion between these two. Yes or no? So, here, the process we observe is called as conduction of electrons. Conduction of charge, I can say. Conduction of charge. So, let me tell you the definition. Try to write it. When a charged body, you better write, when a charged body is kept in contact when a charged body is kept in contact with an uncharged body, then the uncharged body becomes charged. Then the uncharged body becomes charged due to the transfer of charges. Due to the transfer of charges. From the other. From the other. This process is called as conduction. Now, if you want to define this, see, I can say like this. Conduction is the process of charging a neutral body by putting it in contact with another charged body. So, what is the definition of conduction? Conduction is a process of charging a body. What type of body? A neutral body. By putting it in contact with an uncharged body, with a charged body, sorry, with a charged body. So, once you know about this process, what is happening in conduction? After the conduction of charges, there will be repulsion between the two bodies. So, the point you must remember here is conduction proceeds. Conduction proceeds to repulsion. Okay? Conduction proceeds to repulsion. Fine. Now, let me give you some more information here. Try to understand. I have a sphere A and another sphere B. Okay. The charge on the sphere A is Q. Try to understand. The charge on sphere B is Q2. Always remember, charge is always represented with a letter small q or capital Q. Okay, charge is always represented as small q or capital. Now we have taken two identical spheres. Okay, they are not drawn identical, but they are identical. Try to understand. There are two identical spheres A and B, which are holding different amount of charges on them. So the first one is having a charge Q1 and the second one is having a charge Q2. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to keep these two identical spheres, say metallic spheres, A and B in contact. These two are put in contact for some time, right? Then what happens? After some time, if you detach these two and observe the charge over them, the charge on each will be now not Q1 and Q2, but the charge on A and the charge on B will not be Q1 and Q2, rather the charges will be Q1 plus Q2 by 2, Q1 plus Q2 by 2, right? So when two identical metal spheres A and B having charges Q1 and Q2, when are put in contact, then there will be sharing of charge between the two. The sharing process continues until the two spheres attain the same amount of charge. So the charge on A and B now will be Q1 plus Q2 by 2 and Q1 plus Q2 by 2. Clear? And what will be the force that exists between these two now? A repulsion, isn't it? A repulsion. Because same type of charge is produced on the other body as well. Okay, try to understand this one. Now let us try to understand the third method of charging a body. Okay, the third method of charging a body is called as induction. Induction. The first method is friction. We explained that based on the work function. The second one is conduction. Okay, that is explained here. Okay, before going to induction, let me introduce one more point. Okay, you have A as positive, no doubt, and B is negative, because there are two different types of charges, positive and negative. When these two are put in contact, what happens again? When you have Q1 positive, Q2 positive, you can say Q1 plus Q2 by 2 will be the charge on each sphere, right? After conduction. Now I'm saying the first sphere is having a charge Q1 and the second sphere is having a charge minus Q2. And these two are put in contact. Okay, these two are identical as well. Then what happens? After some time, if you detach them, the charge on the first one and the charge on the second one will be Q1 difference Q2 by 2, comma Q1 difference Q2 by 2. Okay, Q1 difference Q2 by 2, Q1 difference Q2 by 2. What is the meaning of Q1 difference? Difference means among Q1 and Q2. Okay, if Q1 is greater than Q2, if Q1 is greater than Q2, better, okay, instead of using difference, you better write minus only. Q1 minus Q2 by 2, Q1 minus Q2 by 2. Okay, don't write the difference. Just simply you write Q1 minus Q2 by 2, Q1 minus Q2 by 2. Okay, this is the case of dissimilar charges present on two identical spheres. This is the case of similar type of charges present on identical spheres. Okay, try to remember these two, because based on these two concepts, we are going to solve number of problems. Okay, there you must be able to give me the answer properly. Fine. The third process I am going to explain you, it is induction. Fine. What is this induction? Try to understand. I have a positively charged body. I'm able to draw properly, but you can draw on your paper. So there is a positively charged body here, and I have one neutral body. What is the meaning of neutral body? It contains equal number of positive and negative charges, like this. Okay, there is a positively charged body and there is a neutral body. And this positively charged body, I can say charging body. and this is neutral. What is the charge on this neutral body? You can say, you can see the net charge present is 0. There is no net charge. Okay, equal number of charge is there. Now we are going to bring this neutral body very close to the positively charged body. Okay. Initially both are at far distance. One is a neutral body, the one is a positively charged body. This is here and that is there. Now this neutral body is brought close to the positively charged body as I have shown in the figure. Then what happens? There will be a reshuffling of the charges of this neutral body. All the negative charges of that neutral body are attracted by the charging body. This charging body is going to attract all negative charges, and it is going to throw all positive charges onto the other side of this neutral body. As a result, what is happening? In between these two, there exists a force of attraction, that is positive and negative. And in between the positive and positive, there exists a force of repulsion. Clear? Are you able to understand what I am telling you? When a neutral body is brought very close to a positively charged body, there will be separation of positive and negative charges in the neutral body. All negative charges are on one side and all positive charges are thrown to the other side. This is the initial stage. Now, in the second case, what I am going to do is to try to understand what I am going to draw. Yes, I am going to draw the same positively charged body, that is charging body. There will be no change. Okay, it will be like that only. In the second case, what I am going to do is I am going to connect this neutral body in which there is separation of charges to earth. This process of connecting is called as grounding. Okay, connecting a body to the ground is called as earthing. We are going to earth it. When we earth, what happens? From earth, electrons start flowing to the body. Electrons start flowing to the body, or I can say positive charge is flowing to the earth. From here, initially there was a positive charge. This positive charge now moves to the earth. As a result, electrons moves to the body. And finally, you can see, okay, I'm going to draw one more figure. These figures indicates complete action of induction. That's why I'm going to draw all these 4 figures. Okay. Here connected to the earth. Now disconnected. We disconnected. And finally, what happens? You can observe the final picture. Right. Okay, try to understand the pictures I have drawn. If you understand, yes, induction process is very clear to you. In the beginning, what is happening? In the beginning, there is a charging body and a neutral body at far distance from each other. The neutral body is brought close to the positively charged body. As a result, there is a separation of charges in it. All negative charges are brought to one side and all positive charges are thrown to the other side. That's the first case. Then this neutral body is connected to Earth. As a result, all positive charge that is present over it now moves to the Earth, or I can say electrons are moving from Earth to the body. The situation after disconnection will be like this, because all negative charges are close to the positively charged body. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to withdraw. I am going to withdraw this charging body. Okay, I am going to withdraw. I am going to remove this positively charged body. Then there is only one body that is neutral initially, now negatively charged. Now negatively charged. See this one. Initially neutral. Now it has become negatively charged. So what you are doing? You are doing a process of charging the body. You are doing a process of charging the body. So when a positively charged body is brought near to a neutral body, then that neutral body finally becomes a negatively charged one. So what type of charge is created here? You can see positive charges was there on the charging body, and negative charge is present on the charged body. Now this is charged body. Okay. So in between charging body and charged body, again there will be a force of attraction, because opposite charge is produced in induction, whereas similar type of charge is produced in conduction. In the earlier discussion, I told you, when you bring a neutral body in contact with a positively charged body, even this neutral body gets the same type of charge. So there is a force of repulsion between the two. Now you come to the second one, induction. And in induction, when a neutral body is brought closer, then after some process, it has become negatively charged. So induction, in induction, you are getting opposite charge. You are getting opposite charge. Try to understand. So induction precedes attraction. This is the point you must understand. In the beginning, I told conduction precedes repulsion. Now here, induction precedes attraction. Note down this point. I think I am clear. Now regarding this induction, you must understand and remember a few more points. Okay. So you better write that. Write first point. Point 1. Inducing body. That is the positively charged body that we have brought. I call it as inducing body. So inducing body neither gains nor lose charge. Whatever the amount of charge it was having on it, yes, that will be there on it even after charging. So with one body, you can charge a number of bodies. Say you have n number of neutral bodies. If you have one charged body, by using this one charged body, you can charge all other neutral bodies. So this is the advantage here. Inducing body, this is neither gains nor lose charge. So the same body can be used for charging any number of neutral bodies, right? And the second point, as I told you, induction always precedes attraction, because opposite type of charge is produced. If you take a negatively charged body, you will get positive charge over this. Okay, if you take positively charged body, you will get negative charge over this. So induction always precedes attraction, right? Now after induction, you have to understand what will be the charge that is produced on this. Okay, now this has become negatively charged, as I explained earlier. So after induction, what will be the charge that is present on this? Say Q dash. Let me use the word Q dash. Let me say the charge that is present on the charging body as Q. So the charge on the charging body is Q, and the charge that is present on this body after the process induction is Q dash. Now I can write a relation between these two. Okay, I can write a relation between these two. Try to write that relation. Q dash is equal to minus Q into 1 minus 1 by K. Q dash is equal to minus Q into 1 minus 1 by K. What do you mean by Q dash here? Q dash is called as induced charge. What is Q here?
Sir.
It is called inducing charge.
Sir.
What is K?
Hello.
K is called as dielectric constant. Okay. Dielectric constant. We will discuss about this in later course. Okay. We are going to discuss about that K in detail. For time being, the relation between induced charge and inducing charge in the process of induction is given by Q dash is